Okay, beautiful. So once again, good evening and welcome to today's class. So today's class is going to be focused on the practicals with respect to multimedia, which we started yesterday. So if at any point in time you get confused, you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to call my attention to it. Okay, thank you very much. There's screen one. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to try to see how I can split my screen into two, because we're going to be doing a lot of work here and view here. Good. So first of all, I'm going to be creating a folder. I believe we can all do this. Create a new folder. So I'll just open a folder here, and then desktop. This is my workspace. We call this training, and I create a new folder, and I call this folder multimedia demo. So I can select this folder. Okay, so inside this folder, I would create a folder and call that folder media. Now I'm calling that folder media because that is where I want to store every media I'm going to be using. Every image, every video, and every audio I'm going to be using would be stored in this media. Now outside this media, I'll be creating my index.html. And then I would use the Mnet abbreviation to create the mockup, the boilerplate of my site. Okay, so I can call this title multimedia what demo. Good. Now let's get to the real business of today, images. So I'm going to very quickly download some images from my remote server that's online. I mean, when I say remote server, I'm talking about online. I'm going to be downloading some images that would work for me, that I can use to implement this particular project. Or better still, I'll just try to move some from my laptop into VS Code. Now, as I mentioned this today, you can either use remote images, right? Or you can use images from your local server. So that means images from your laptop or images that exists in somebody else's site. Now, but for now, I want to use images that exist on my laptop. So I'm going to try to access some pictures, some files, and move them to that location. So let me get to pictures and then try to move file. Okay, let me use this. This here. Okay, Ctrl C. Just copy and I paste that here. Paste. I'm going to have to rename it to image. In the same vein, let me look for videos. Okay, this should work. I also copy this video and then I have paste, rename video. And in the same space, I will also look for a song, music. Okay, I have this song here. And then I also paste that here. Oh, is it copying the whole music folder? I think there's a problem there. Permanently. Let me copy the right song. I think he didn't copy what I needed to copy. Okay, good. Rename song. Good. Now we have our index.html, and then I have the files I need. I have an image, I have a song, and I have a video, which I can actually implement in this site. Now, the syntax for adding an image to a site, so let me call this main, is simply img source equals alt equals. Now, these are the basic things you would need to add an image to your site. So you're working on a site and you need to add an image, just know that this is the basic syntax you need. This is the basic structure you need. Now, with this structure, you can comfortably put an image in your site. So there are also other attributes that you can add, like width, and you can also add the height attribute. Now, these particular two attributes are not compulsory, but very necessary in the sense that your you might necessarily need to set up your image in a particular container, and in that container you might have to manage the height and the width of that container effectively. That's why you definitely need the width and the height of the container of this image. Now, the width and height of the container must, in one way or the other, correspond with the width and height of this image. If the container is small and you are making the height and width of the image larger than the container, you will discover there will be an overflow. The image will look weird or it becomes squeezed. Now, I always don't advise to set up width and height because you might not be able to handle the width and height such that the image is not distorted. So let me just show us what I mean by that. So the source here is this ./media/image.jpg. So I would go live. I'll go live so I can see the output. Okay, started on port 5500. So this is the output. This is the image I just implemented. This is the image I just implemented. Now, this image is quite big to be on this. It's quite big on this screen, and I want it to be a little smaller. Now, if I should set up my width to be 300, sorry, say 200 pixel, for example, and height to be 100 pixel. Observe something. The image looks skewed. It looks irregular. It looks irregular because I cannot effectively tell what actually is the dimensioning of the image. Now, this image is even easier because it's a block. It's like a box, a direct square. So it looks quite easier. Now, for images that are either rectangular or tubular, you discover that you will struggle to understand the dimension. So now, in that case, what I always advise is that you set only one side. Either you set the width or you set the height. Now, if you set just the width or the height, what happens is that the image automatically scales itself. So let me show us an example. Let me change this image and look for an image that is either tubular or rectangular. Okay, this image is rectangular. Perfect. So I'm going to call this image 2. And I'm going to rename this to image 2. Now, if I remove this width and height, the image is quite large. As you can see, it's quite large and it overflows because the container is smaller. Now, if I say I want to apply a width, call the width 200 pixels, and then I call the height 50 pixels. What happens now is that if you observe, the image is now unnecessarily wider than expected, and it has distorted the shape of this image. But what I actually have in mind is that I want this image to actually be a height of 50 pixels, but I don't know the exact width that this image would carry that will make it align properly. But all I want is I want it to be at a height of 50 pixels. So what I need to do is remove the width. Once I remove the width, what happens is that it scales itself automatically, gives me a height of 50 pixels. Is it better now, Christiana? Christiana, is it better now?
Not really, sir.
How about now?
Okay, yes, fine. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this, when I set that height to be 50 pixel, it then automatically scales and sets up the height of my image to be 50, the height of my image to 50 pixel, and automatically by itself chooses a width that still balances the image correctly, even with the 50 pixel height. You know, initially I set the width to be 200 pixels. Now that made the image look awkward. But now I want the width to actually be 200 pixels, but I'm not sure what height would actually work when the image is 200 pixels. So I can take out this height and then just set the width to be 200 pixels. Automatically, the system scales itself automatically. It scales itself to the point where the width is 200 pixels and the system determines the height that maintains the scaling of that image. So it's always important that you know how to play with this height and width. And please note this, note this, note this. Whether I put pixels or not, this height is automatically in pixels. That's because pixel is actually the default unit. So by the time you set up your height or width without the unit, automatically makes it pixels. I don't know if we are following, please. If you are following, please just indicate with an emoji. Maybe I'm not talking to myself. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, Aris, go ahead. Aris, your hand is up. Was that a mistake? Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. What was the challenge? Priska, what's the challenge? Priska,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yes, so I'm trying to follow you as you go, but I'm having a couple of challenges.
Okay, go ahead.
First of you were a bit fast. I don't know if I missed it in the last class or whatever. I'm sorry if I have missed it and I'm just taking the class back. How did you paste the images, the videos onto the work area?
How did I create what?
How did you paste the image, the videos, and the audio onto the work area?
Okay. Did you just join the class? Were you in the class before now?
Yes, just yesterday.
No, I mean today. Did you just join the class?
No. I've been here since. I've been watching you do, but it was a bit fast, and I'm trying to recreate, but it's not working.
Okay, so do you have a picture on your system? Like a picture somewhere in your system?
Yes, I do.
Good. All you just need to do, you know how to, you can copy, I believe you can copy and paste, right?
I did copy it, yes.
Just copy it and then paste it here. You've created this folder and this file, right?
Yes, I created the multimedia folder, but I'm trying to create the media subfolder, but it is just attaching as multimedia/media instead of another folder.
Yes, that's what it will be. Have you created this index.html?
I have.
Okay, so observe this very well. Please observe me very carefully. Now, okay, let me secure this guy for deleting it. Okay, so I'm going to delete this and show you what you probably are having. What you have looks like this. What you have, does it look like this? The structure you have
No,
currently, does it look like this?
just the multimedia folder.
Just the multi. Have you created this media folder inside the multimedia folder?
Yes.
You've created this. Good.
Yes,
Now, open up. Now, you see this arrow that goes down?
yes, sir.
This arrow that goes
Yes.
down shows the folder that is currently active. Now, if it's a multi-level folder like this one, it shows that inside this folder, this guy is active. Do you get the point?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to create anything outside this folder, you have to first of all close this folder, click out of it totally, and then you can, for example, create a new folder, media 2. Now, that's the first step. Now, the next thing you need to do is, once you open up this folder, you can now go to your file manager and go to, say, for example, I want to copy this image. You can see this image, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can copy this image. Oh, sorry, I'm copying a folder. Copy this image, and all you need to do is click on this folder. Make sure it's active like this, right?
Okay.
Once you make sure it's active like this, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Once it's active like this, just Control V, which is normal paste. Control V, normal paste, and it pastes, and it exists
Okay.
inside that folder.
Okay, sir.
And you can go ahead to rename it so that it is easier for you to access. So you just right click and then you see a rename there. Like you can just name it. So it's easier for you to access.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Got it.
So
Thank you
let me.
very much.
You're welcome. So let me return to status quo. Hope is there another query? Does anybody have another? Oh shoot. Does anybody have another query? None. So let's just continue. So maybe demo. Okay, so I was trying to explain image. So I said the image, we have the source, we have the alternative texts. So in this source, we have /media/image2, and the alternative text could be coding image. Now, I'm sure yesterday we dissected as to why we need an alternative image, right? Yes, we did. Now, so I'm going to have to play with these heights, make the height, call it 100. So that works perfectly for us. Now, the reason for this alternative image is such that if anything happens to any of this image we're using, it doesn't just stay blank. So if this image is broken, for example, you see that it shows an alternative text. Shows us an alternative text. Okay. Moving on. Moving on. So now let's look at images from a different server. Images from a totally different server. So I'm going to try to get an image from google.com. To try to get a totally different image from Google. So let me say image of iPhone 12. Image of iPhone 12. Image of iPhone 12. So let me pick out one image. So let me use this image. So now this image exists in this site. I can open the site of this image with some stock stuff. I think I don't like that stock stuff. Let me go to images and find something good. Okay, so I'm just looking for anything else appeals to my sense of excitement right now. Okay, so let me use this guy. Now, this image exists in a remote server. As I explained this, what a remote server is. So this image exists in a remote server. I'm trying to open the remote server which it exists. This is the site that owns this image. This is the site that owns this image. Now, but I like this image. I don't want to download it into my system. I don't want to go through the hassle of downloading it. I just want to use it directly from this site. So I could just right click. Here we have what we call copy image address. Copy image address. So I can just copy this image address. And in this source, in place of all this, I can just put the image URL. So once I do this, I have that image. It's coming up. Oh. So what I have done now is that I have accessed their site from my own site. I've accessed their site from my own site to get this image. Now, unfortunately for us, if anything happens to this image from this site, as I mentioned yesterday, if anything happens to this image from this site, our own image here will have issues. That is why one way I do not encourage getting images from remote sites. Rather, download the images, download stock images that you need to, free images and all that, and use them for what you need to use them for. Now, that's about images. So you can get images from another site. Now, also note that images like this, the source allows for you to be able to upload GIFs. I'm sure we know what GIFs are. You know what GIFs are. So let me quickly ask, who knows the meaning of GIF? Does anybody know the meaning of GIF? That might be the first award I might just give soon. Don't Google it. What is the meaning of GIF? Anybody quickly? Counting down to 10. Geographic Information Systems. Okay, let's keep going. Beautiful. I think, and that's the name I see there. Go ahead. I saw a hand. Okay, Praise I said is
Yeah, I
geography.
was going to say it too, but you already said it out loud.
Okay, wanted to say is Geographic
The
Information Systems.
graphic information systems, I think so.
Graphics Information System. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so GIF means, okay, Mesoma, go ahead. Mesoma, go ahead. Victory.
Is geographic information system.
Okay, that now the GIF I'm asking of is with respect to images now, please. I'm asking the meaning of GIF with respect to images, please. So Victory, go ahead. Okay, I have 3 hands. Victory, go ahead, please. Good. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Since some of us have woken up eventually. Danga, go ahead.
It means graphic interchange format. Is it GIF or GIF?
GIF. GIF.
Okay, I thought it was GIF. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. She's right.
Okay. So that is it. GIF means graphic interchange format. Now, the source in your image field, in your image element, can also be used to display GIFs. So when you have a GIF on your system and you want to display that GIF, you can also use the image element, image tag, to display GIFs. So moving on very quickly. Now, you can also use an image as a link. You can use an image as a link. So for example, I'm sure most of us have visited sites where they use a logo. Favor, you have a question? Favor Onuchi, your hand is up. Hello, Favor, are you there? Okay, beautiful. I don't know if that's your name. Please, okay.
So,
Favor,
sorry,
your hand
sir.
is
Please,
up.
can you? Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Sorry, please, can you come again with the GIF? I didn't really get it.
I said we all said and agreed that GIF means graphic interchange format. So I said that if you have a GIF, right? If you have a GIF, you can display your GIFs using your image in your image element rather. GIF is basically an image format, or no, can I call it an image format? Not an image format per se. It's an animated image. It's an animated image. Stickers that you see on WhatsApp are GIFs. Those are animated images. They're not videos, but they're images that move. Like stickers are GIFs. You've seen a lot of GIFs like that. The ones that are moving. Anything that moves, but it's not like a video, is a GIF. So you can use the image element to display GIFs in the system. Mesoma, go ahead.
You said something like when we upload a video or an image from a remote server and it gets deleted from that site, is also going to affect our own site. Does it mean when we also upload an image from our local server, it's also going to get lost in our website, something like that?
Yes, yes. So if, for example, I have this image now, I have this image here, right? And I am referencing, let's assume I'm referencing that image in my file here. Okay, let's just do a quick practical image dot slash images. Oh shoot, sorry. Dot slash media slash image dot jpg. and I set a height of say 100. I want you to observe something very intentional here. Okay, so you can see this image, right? That's the image. Can you see the image? This is the image I just set up now from my local server. Now this is the image. Now once I delete this image, and I refresh, in fact, the image is gone already. So let me make you see that the image has actually gone. What was that image name again? Let me just write code in here. Let me just put that as authoritative text. So have you seen that the image is gone? So that's what happens if this image, for example, this image you are using here, this image gets deleted from the remote server. What happened to this other one that is deleted from my local server will happen to it also. I don't know if you understand me, Mesoma.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can move on. Yes, we can. So I was about to talk about using an image as a link. I think, and I believe Mr. Daniel already explained to you guys what you can use to access links, right? What you can use to make links work in HTML, and that is the anchor tag. Yes, I believe he did that. Good, thank you very much. So we're going now, for you to use an image as a link, you would need compulsorily to use the anchor tag. So what you would do is that you would wrap this image with the anchor tag. So for example, what you want to have is anchor tag. Let me just do this anchor tag, and then I can now bring in my image. Now the image could be ./media/image2. I say height. Let me set up the height to be 30 pixels. So this is the image right now. Now, once I implement a destination URL for it, say google.com, what happens here is that the moment I click on this image, it takes me to a URL. Dara, go ahead.
So please, I want to ask, please, in what situation do we use an anchor tag?
When you need to generate a link, when you need something to just be a link, a text or whatever it is, you need it to be a link. You need it to take you somewhere. You need to take you to a location. You use your anchor tag. Thank you very much. Okay, so for example, now this is much more. This is more useful when it comes to things like logo. So you have a site and you want a station whereby in that place your hand is still up. You could drop it if that's all. Let's have another question. Okay, thank you very much. Now, in a situation whereby you have like a logo, for example, you have a logo and you want that logo to take you somewhere. You know, there are sites where once you go to the About Us page, that when you click on the logo, it takes you back to the home page, right? So that is what this particular code snippet will do for you. You implement the image, but you wrap it with an anchor tag. You implement the image with the normal image source and all that, but you wrap it with an anchor tag, just like we have done here. Now, this is the href. Href is basically the location, the uniform resource locator that you need this guy to go to. Now, once that is done, what happens is when you come here, you click on this image. Once you click on this image, it will definitely take you somewhere, which is that particular location that you have directed that image to take you to, which is in this case, google.com. I want to believe there is no query with that. So we can move on. Now, let's move on to something that is a little more tricky and will require some form of calculation. It will require a lot of mental calculation, something we call image map. Very complicated, but easy to manipulate if you understand it. Now, so this is how image map works. There are times when you could have one image like this displaying on the system, but You want a situation whereby you click on a particular angle, a particular place of that particular image, and it takes you to a certain URL. You click somewhere else in that image, it takes you to a different URL. For example, if I click on this apple, it should take me to a different URL. If I click on this camera box, it should take me to a different URL. If I click on this flower or this somewhere around here, the idea is that it's just creating like a map around the image you have. It's called image mapping, image maps. So the HTML map is used to actually signify that. So let's play with something very quickly. Map. Now I have my image already. Let this guy come down. I have my this is the image I'm using. I want to use this image, and I have set the height to be 100. So I might necessarily need to set a width to achieve this 300 because that 300 doesn't make sense. So let's use 200. I hope 200 makes some more sense. Okay, 200 looks better. Good. So remember, our height is 100 and our width is 200 pixels. Please have that not at the back, but at the front of your mind. This particular information is very, very important because it's going to require that you do some mental work here. Now, when you want to use this guy as in a map kind of system, you have to now set up an attribute called use map. Use map. And that use map now has like an ID called, let's call it my map. Let's just call it my map. Now, this use map ID is what is now done, will now be the name of this map, my map here. That will now be the name. That's the first step. Now, the next step is that we're going to introduce another element called area. Now, there are about 4 shapes. I think 4 or 3 shapes. There are about 4 shapes. That's 4 of them. We have rectangle. There are 4 shapes. I'm going to list them out quickly. Let me just write them here. Rectangle. Let me write them here so you can see it. Rectangle. There is cycle. There is poly. That's poly is for polygon. That's more like shapeless something. Just want to draw a shape. Then default. Just you want to use the whole image such that you click the image and something happens. Now, for what we're trying to achieve, we're going to use rectangle first. So shape is rectangle, right? Shape is rectangle. Now, the rectangle has 4 values. 4 values. 4 values. Now, the first value is this. You need to locate a starting point, and you will need to locate an ending point. Because we are building a rectangle. Now, a rectangle is in this manner. I'm sure we know what a rectangle is. A rectangle can either have a very long, can be very long and not too wide, or can be very wide and not too long. But in this case, this is where our rectangle will be, here like this, in this space. I have this space, so just follow my cursor, this space, and up to, okay, yeah, up to this space. That's my rectangle. Or better still, yes, let's play with that as a rectangle for now. This space up onto this space is our rectangle. Now we have to be able to capture this rectangle in that area. That's why I told you, don't forget the height. Don't forget the height and the width that we have in mind. Now, when we do that, what we now need to do is that we need to capture a point here and a point here. Now, to capture a point here, we need to assume and calculate the distance that it will be from here to this point and the distance that it will be from here to this point. In the same vein, we need to assume or manipulate the distance that it will be from here to this point and from here to this point. That will help us achieve our rectangle. That will help us mark out the area that when you tap on a particular function or a particular link would be clicked. So as I said, it requires some level of mathematics. So now we know our height is 100. We know our height is 100. and our width is 200. So I need 2 or 3 people to just quickly suggest, what do you think this point would be? Just use a mental eye. You don't have to be 100% correct. You might never get it correctly at first, but you just keep guessing until you get it perfectly. So this point, what do we think it would be? This is 200 and this is 100. What do you think this point would be? Starting with the left, you first mention this and then mention this. So what do you think it would be? 2 people quickly. This is 200 and this is 100. What do you think the distance from here to here will be and time from here to here will be? Anybody? 30 class 30 from where? 30, 20. So are you saying from here to here will be 30, from here to here 20? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Or here to here 20, here to here 30?
Okay,
30 height.
I think from the vertical will be 10 and from the horizontal will be 20.
So 10, 20, that's what you're saying?
Yes, please.
Okay. Victory, let's hear you. I'm going to take an average of about 2 or 3 opinions and use that. Victory.
Okay, for the width, I'll give it 30. And then the height, I'll give it 10.
Okay, so we have that's 30 and 10. Is that what you're saying? 30. Victory, are you here? Are you saying this is 30 and this is 10? Or you're saying this is 30, this is 10?
30, that's vertical is
Okay, hold on. Let's do it this way. Hold on. Let's do it this way so we don't get confused, right? Let's stay with the actual terms. The actual term is the distance from the left and the distance from the top. So let's stay with that so that we don't get confused, right? So don't confuse anybody else. So what's the distance from the left and what's the distance from the top?
the distance from the top, I'll say 10.
10.
Then
Don't forget that.
distance-
Don't forget that. Hold on. Don't forget that this height is 100. Oh.
Yes.
So distance from here to here 10.
Okay.
Look at it again properly. This is 100. Ladies, look at this. This is 100. Okay. Rita, go ahead. Rita, go ahead.
The distance from the top should be 30. Then the distance
Okay.
from the left is 20.
20. Okay, thank you. Mesoma. Well,
So,
Mesoma, go
okay,
ahead.
so I
If the height 10 and the width 20.
Don't Mesoma, don't carry us back there again. We said we are sticking with from the left margin and top margin. So let's stay with that that particular term. But it's easier for everybody to flow with
Top
us.
margin 20.
Top margin what?
The top 20
Okay.
and the left should be 10.
10. Okay, so I want us to put something into perspective here. Picture that this middle here is 50. Just picture that this middle here is 50. Hope you are aware, because this is 100. So picture that this middle here is 50. As you're actually guessing what this would be, just picture it.
Okay.
That this is 50.
The distance from the top, I'll give it 20.
Okay.
And the distance from the left, I'll give it 10.
10. Okay. Anybody else? Florence.
Distance from the left, I'll give it 40.
Okay.
Then
please
distance
let
from the top, I'll give it 20.
Okay. 20, 30. Okay. Anastasia, go ahead.
please, I think the distance from the left should be 30 and that of the top should be 20.
20, 30. Okay, so I think from an average we have 20 and 35. So let's try 20, 35. So from the left is 20, and from the top is 35. So let's try that. Let's see how correct we are, right? Then now let's go to the bottom. So we are trying to achieve, where do we achieve? Where do we try to attain? So we have this. So let's try to see how we can get this whole image. So this from here to the point from here to here and here to here. Now for this one, right? For this one, we are achieving, we are still achieving the same thing from the left and from the top. The same thing from the left and from the top. So this point from the left will be what? What's the number?
Where?
From this point where this apple is. Let's use this point where this apple is.
To the left.
Yes, from the left. Considering that this is
That should be
200,
like
this is 200. It's looking like
Yeah,
160.
one
Like 160.
60.
160, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Then from the top,
like 80.
80, 160, comma 80. Good. So let's set a href for it and say https facebook.com. Good. So observe something very interesting. When I click here, nothing happens. Are you observing that?
Yes,
Well,
please.
now let's see if we are correct with our analysis. So this is this. Are you seeing that we're almost there? If I click here, if something happens. But at this point, are you seeing that we're correct? Because once it shows like this a link, so we're almost there. And so at this point, from anything from this point, if I go a little further, it's no longer a link. If I click here, it doesn't work. Let me switch this to Google, sorry. So if I click here, nothing happens. If I click here, nothing happens. If I click here, nothing happens. So basically my link starts from here. From here goes down to this point. So it means our 160 stopped at this point, and our bottom 80 is at this point. So it means that this is the area with which we can click and have a result. I don't know if we're getting the calculation.
Yes.
Now, let's do something a little more adventurous, which will require some deep level of calculation. Let's work on this one that is a circle, this very tiny circle. Now, for a circle, it's quite different. For a circle, first off, you need to find the coordinates of the center of that circle. You have to find the coordinates of the center of that circle. In other words, you need to try to calculate where the center of this circle is. So, can anyone give us the figures for that? So, is this circle where we're playing with this time around? Let's get the coordinates of this circle. So, the shape now is circle. Now, this first shape is for rectangle, don't forget. The structure for circle is different. The structure for circle is different. The structure for circle is different. So, for the circle, let's use this circle. Let us use this particular cycle. Let's use this cycle. So, can anyone, let's just figure out what would the coordinates for this center be? Any ideas quickly? I'm waiting for someone to build the card. Who is willing to build the card?
Just the circle.
Yes, just this circle. What would this point be? Okay, 30 from where? I'm saying 30 from. Please let's not forget we're talking about from the left, not the height. No, not the height. I'm talking about coordinates now. Remember, we're talking about coordinates, the distance from the left and distance from the top. Don't forget the distance from the
Sorry,
left.
sir.
Not forgetting that this is 200 pixels. Yes.
And please, I want to pass a message across to the. To not take 5 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay. Please, I'm dropping the link to the attendance on the comment section so we can all write our attendance. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so 150-20. Okay, thank you very much. 150-20. Someone said 150-20. Okay. 150-20. Okay. Another opinion, quickly. Another opinion. 150-20. 160-20. Okay. 160 did not work for us last time. I don't know if you remember. 90. Where are you with us? 90 what? Supposed to be a complete figure. 90-60. No, it cannot be 90-60. This height is 60. This height is 100 rather, so this cannot be 90-60. 130-20 sounds good. 150-20. So let's make do with 140-20. 140-20. And then let's assume what the height, what the radius of this box would be. So now I'm going to call this just 5. Let me not put us through the hassle of thinking what it would be. 5. So let's be sure it's not working. 5 href google.com. Google.com. So let's see. Yeah, well, we're not correct. Our calculation did not work out fine. Calculation did not work out fine. We did not calculate it correctly. Let's see. Okay. Okay, nice. It's working to an extent. So let's see. 22. Perfect. So this is the radius we have. This big eye is coming up. Okay, our left side did not work. 120. Let's see again. Okay, good. It's 120.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, please, how did you get the radius?
I just assumed.
Okay.
Everything when it comes to this mapping, everything is just assumption. You're trying to guess. You're trying to guess what it could be. Like this is I'm saying the radius now is 5. So this is naming calculation. This is the distance is given to me. Okay, Priska, go ahead.
Okay, sir. You for the rectangle, I understood the 4 dimension for the 4 figures are made of the coordinates. In circle,
Okay.
why is it just 3? What does this 3 figure indicate?
Okay, the 3 figures. Okay, very simple. You know, a circle is round, right?
Yeah.
And for you to get the length of the circle, all you need is the radius, right? Are you there?
Okay, sir.
So the 3 values there are 1. The first one here, the first 2 here is the coordinates. Where can I navigate myself to the center of the circle? These coordinates should actually take you to the center of the circle. And then this last value is to give you the radius. Now, we both know that if you can navigate to the center of the circle and you have the radius, you can have this whole circle. Do you understand the point? You navigate to this center and you can get the radius, you will have the whole circle. Is it clear now?
No, really, sir.
Okay. Victory, I'm coming to you very shortly. Victory and Nicholas, just leave your hands up. When I'm done with Priska, I'll come to you. So this is a circle. You understood the part of the rectangle, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Now this is a circle. right? Now, for you to get the circumference of a circle, all you need is the radius, the distance from the center of the circle to any part of the circle. That's called the radius, the distance from the center to any part of the circle, right?
Oh yes.
Now, if I want to draw a circle at any location, all I need to do is to pick the center point. Once I get the center point and I get the radius, I can draw a circle.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why these three values, the first two, aims to give you the center point of this circle. And then the last one is the radius. So once you're able to pick out the center point, the radius now helps you to draw a circle around the center point, because now this is center point. Now the radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any part of that circle. So once we are at this center, we can now 5, 5, 5. It just goes round and then we have our circle. Are you still confused?
No, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Victory, go ahead. Victory, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. Please, I want to understand something. This image mapping, is it as regards to images gotten from remote source, or it still applies to images that are gotten from local holders?
It applies to all images. Every image that you want to use, it applies.
And what's the use? What's the importance of doing the image mapping?
Okay, so I used to try to play games once in a while. Now, I don't know if you've actually visited any kind of site whereby clicking on a particular angle aspect of a particular image, click on something or a particular aspect in that image gives you a certain response. For example, you could be going through a site and there is an image of probably a baby, a woman throwing up, holding a baby or something. Now, on hovering on that baby or hovering on the woman, there is an information that comes out just on that particular section. It does not happen in the whole image, it happens just in a particular section. Now, when you have such a situation, you would need to know how to map. Else, you have to write plenty code. So that is one of the core applications of mapping an area, which you would need eventually.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, E-class, go ahead. E-class. Adiola E-class, are you still here? Oh, okay. I think she'll be joining us a little later when she's ready. So, okay. So that's basically what it entails when it comes to images. That's practically everything you need to know when it comes to images. That's practically everything you need to know. Okay. Now, there's really not much to do in videos, so I'll just quickly do iframe. I'll show us a few things with respect to iframe, and then we'll do a few things with images. I will call it, with videos and audio, I'll call it a night. So, iframe basically is used to display a web page within a page. So, for example, this is my web page. And I want to display another web page inside this web page. I use iframe, and it's as simple and as straightforward as possible. There's no plenty thought to it. So all I just need to do is say iframe. Now my source could be https google.com. Now once I do this, what happens is this. Then it's not, why is not Are you even taking me here? Google.com refused to connect. It's by blocks. Blocks that you cannot use iframe to post on net. Blocks. Let's see. Might be temporarily down. I need a site that can work here. The site that can work here. Okay, perfect. So can we see this now? This is a site, but I am loading it in this site. That's what you use iframe to achieve. Now, you can set the height and the width of this iframe. Height, say 300 pixel, width, say 200 pixels. This is the height and the width of that iframe. And then there are other things you can do with the iframe, remove the border, and a lot of other things that you can achieve using the iframe. So let's look at video. Let's do something with video quickly. I think I already did this yesterday, but I'll just do it again for those that probably were not here yesterday. So video elements, we have the source slash media slash video. So in this case, we have, I need to take out this iframe. So this is the video, but it's large. So just like image, we have height to be 300 and we have width to be 200. So this is the video. But interestingly, I cannot do anything with this video. I can't play it. I can't do anything with this video. That's because I have not implemented or added this attribute called controls. So until I add this attribute called controls, that is when this video now has controls that I can now play. I can make it appear in full screen. I can actually create a structure whereby it can even be downloaded. Can even be downloaded. Now, in a situation whereby, for example, you are not certain of, okay, Iklas, go ahead. Hello, Iklas. Okay, Florence, go ahead. Florence, you have a question or your hand is up by mistake? Okay, I think you're not with us. Okay, so in a situation whereby you are not sure of the images that will be as the kind of videos that will be accepted in a particular browser, because now the truth is there are some browsers that don't play some kind of image and videos. So in that case, you can now use multiple sources. You can use multiple sources because in this case we have just one source, and this video source is compelled. It's compelled to play this particular video. But in a case whereby the browser does not even notice or cannot play this particular video type, what would you do? So you cannot tell. So what is always advisable is that you can have your video in multiple formats. So how do you now achieve that? You can have video, and instead of having your source here, that will no longer be source here anymore. What you can just have here is height, which could be 200, and width, which could be say 100. And inside this video, you now have source. You now have source. It's in this source that you would now specify the source of the image, of the video rather, /media/ video.mp4, and you can now specify the type and call it video/mp4, which is the type of this video. Now, if you have another type that is probably OGG, sorry, that's probably OGG. you specify that OGG. If you have another type that is probably AVI, and this is probably AVI. Control. Oh, sorry. This does not have a closing tag. Does not have a closing tag. Why is this not playing? Hey. So this is the video. You know what I was writing before. So controls. The size and weight is small. So let's increase it to 300, 500. So now I can play the video or not. So what have I done in this case? This is what I've done. I am not certain of the video type that is accessible in the different browsers. So I give the browser the opportunity to pick which video type works for it to display. That's why I have multiple sources. Now it does not show the three of them. The browser chooses the one that works and displays. So if, for example, it tries to play this MP4 and the MP4 video type does not play, it will switch over to the OGG. If OGG does not play, it switches over to the AVI. Now, it's if any of these video types does not play, that is when the video is broken out or is totally out. So in this particular method, you are safe. You are safe from the fact that, okay, you have a video that did not play because of the file type. But this will now require you to actually go and convert the video or get probably project manager or something to actually now convert this video and give you the different video types. So that is how you use source. Now there is something called autoplay. Now when you use the autoplay attributes, what you do is that you make the video automatically play once the site loads up. You don't need to press play anymore once the site loads up. But at that point, you wouldn't need these controls anymore. Let's see. Why is it not playing up? Controls. Okay. So autoplay is actually meant to play the video for you without. Then also we have muted. With muted, the video automatically comes muted. So we discovered that in the autoplay, when I refreshed it, the video just came and started playing on its own without pressing play. That's what it's meant to do. Autoplay just plays the video by itself. In the same vein, muted automatically brings the video muted. So once the video comes, it's muted. It's now your choice to decide to allow the sound to play or not. But the video is automatically muted when you use the muted attribute. Finally, audio. Now, just like video, right? Just like video, you can have source for audio also. You can have source. And you have SRC, source, song, .mp3, and you say type equals to audio/mp3. Now you can also have say MP OGG. I think it's OG that is a song type. Yeah, OGG. So where's my video? Where's my song? This video is too large. Controls. And this is my song. So the song is playing. Then you can also decide to add autoplay also to audio. When you add autoplay, the audio can just play automatically on without being triggered to play. Once it automatically just plays on its own without being triggered to play. So with that, that brings us to the end of today's class on multimedia, practicals on multimedia, and be taking questions now.